We,
Let me just ask a question right here.
go ahead.
Is this when, I know we shouldn't be bringing up 76, but let's say it's 76, all right? Okay. Is this, because I was in Harrisburg at Triple Plant as we were talking about 76, are some of these guys that are elected to these boards, you know, who are actually members of the House and the Senate, are they the ones that get 76?
Can I just make a comment on
Go
that?
ahead.
Please?
Look, when Sam Rohr was there, we were good buddies, and I supported him 100% on his legislation to do away with it. Okay. Jimmy Cox puts it in the House, 1776. And over the last summer, not this past summer, the summer before, I was able to get 39 additional representatives, Democrats and Republicans, because they respect me, they like me. Many times I've helped different members. It was across the board, almost evenly split, that I picked up almost 40 additional members, Democrats and Republicans. And I've told people this over and over again. The day before we voted Jimmy Cox's bill, a letter came out. So I come to my desk and I'm looking at this letter and what the heck is this? Every major statewide organization, whether they mean Republican or Democrat, you had all the unions. You had the manufacturers, the chamber, the doctors, the dentists, the lawyers. I mean, anybody, the farmers groups, opposed to the legislation. And I went like this, oh my God, we're dead meat. We had 59 votes on the final vote on Cox's bill. 59. I had it up to 98. We were only 4 votes short of the 102. And it broke my heart because I thought to myself, we were that close. So then I talked to Mr. Turzai, Republican Majority Leader. You know, I'm friends with both sides. I deal with issues. And I forget the damn party politics. Let's get down to the meat of the business and get things done. So I said to him, I said, Mike, what the hell is it with you? I mean, why can't you support this bill? So he says to me, Tommy, the shopping malls, the manufacturing firms, you gotta remember, he's a Republican Majority Leader. All these big stores, box stores, they should pay property tax. And I went, wait, is this role reversal? I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican. I've been fighting harder than hell to get rid of that damn tax, the property tax, and you're going like this. Ain't no way that bill's coming up. And if it does come up, and I remember what he did on the floor of the House when Cox's bill came up, I sit back like over here and I watch everybody. I like to have a good eyeball view of what's going on in the chamber. And he's running up and down the aisle on the Republican side, going like this, you know, to different members. And I'm thinking to myself, he's telling members and threatening some, you better vote no on that bill. And he did. And we ended up with a total of 59 votes between both sides. So how do you overcome that? I don't know. You know, they got the Senate bill 76 out, and everybody was saying, oh, yo, and I'm thinking, Pledgey's never going to run that bill, and he didn't. Now think about it. They got it out of committee. It went to appropriations, the Finance Committee appropriations. I thought, it's dead meat. We're running out of time, and we ran out of time. I don't know if we'll ever get that version, maybe a different type of version, maybe just for seniors. We're getting some help for seniors, total elimination. The lift there, it's about $13 billion that's raised statewide from property tax, and the state puts in about 11 billion. It's about 24 billion. So I'm thinking maybe senior citizens that are retired on fixed income, single resident dwelling, eliminate, maybe it's 2 or 3 billion. It's a little bit less of a lift. Yes, sir.
What's your definition of our senior citizen?
65 and older, retired, on pension, owner occupied. I'm thinking, you know.
And I gotta pay your tax.
Well, no, I know, but where do you start? The ones that are being hurt the hardest, and I get around Reading a lot, seniors on fixed income, they're the most vulnerable. They're losing their homes more than anybody else. They can't afford the continued increase in property taxes. They can't. Now, they suffer in silence. They'll either downsize, move in with their children, go into an apartment, and just try to unload their property. And it's happening with a lot of the seniors. So, you say to yourself, who do we help first? And who really needs the help most? I know they're saying, what about young people? What about middle-income people? I don't know.
Well, let's get back on this, and then we'll wind that up. This is a graph from the PSERS investment portfolio as of December 31st, 2012. A private equity, private debt, venture capital, 22%. Real estate, 13%. That's considered high risk because it's not liquid. And then you have master partnerships and risk parlay. That's another 4%. Isn't that a lot of money in risk? Okay, go to the next one. This chart is very interesting. If you remember earlier, I said in 2007 there was not a problem. If you look at the 2007 graph, the blue line there is U.S. equities. Okay? If you look over here, the U.S. equities in 95 and all were real high. Now, one of the misinformation pieces that we are given, we went into high risk because the market collapsed. Well, isn't that your green growing until 2007? They went into high risk before the market crashed. And that's what caused the major crash. Go to the next one. Warren Buffett put in the paper that 6 years ago, 10/16, Warren Buffett wrote, "Buy America, I am." From then until 10/3, the Standard & Poor's went up 137%. John, flip back the chart. Did they put more in America or less? Less. They did the direct opposite of what made sense. I looked up the Dow Jones yesterday, and in the same period of time where the Standard & Poor's went up 137%, the Dow Jones went up 118%. So either one would be better than high risk. Okay, John. Next one. Tom talked about what was in the paper. He's complaining about the cost. The PSERS gained $10.5 billion more in returns between 2004 and 2013 than it would have had in passively managed investments as index funds. This actually was stated by Williams, a lady with the SERS. Okay? Now again, I need to share something with you, but I need to finish this first. She stated that they paid out $3 billion in fees. If they made $10.5 billion, paid $3.8 billion in fees out, is that not 36% of the rate of return? Yeah, think about that. Now, over that period of time, which is 10 years, she said they made $6.7 billion. If you take an average, that's only $670 million a year, isn't it? Go to the next one. Pamela Heil stated that the fund saw an investment return of 7.4% over the last 10 years. Is that not 0.74% per year as an average? Yeah, go to the next one. Go to the next one. This is right from their website, from 2008. They have $62.7 billion. If that number was put in American Standard & Poor's, that $62 billion number would have gone up 137%. That means we'd have $90 to $100 billion in that account. We have 49. They lost 26% when the market went up 136%. Now, to me, this doesn't make sense. I actually have here on March, let me get the right one, March 2013, again, right off of their website, they had in the account to start the beginning of the year $50.2 billion. If they made 7%, how much should they have made? 3.5 billion? 10%, let's use 10%. 50 billion, make 10%, you made $5 billion. So they should have 55 billion. How about they have 50 billion, 50.4 billion? They made $200,000, or I'm sorry, $200 million that year, off of $50 billion. That's right off of their documents. They come back the following year, and they gain 300. I want to thank Ray for the website, because that's where I got it from. You can get all of these reports right off the website. Ray has that website. Am I making you sick with some of this? Yeah. Now, this is not the PSEA, this is not the SERS. This is the local. This is Berks County's report. What's interesting about this report is their increase since 2009. Remember, they lost money? This increase was 142%. What's in? Huh? Municipal retirement system, the local. Berks County. Berks County employees. Berks County Municipal Pension Fund.
Does that come out under the county?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Now, what's interesting about this, you remember earlier, the people from the PSEA and the SERS says, oh, you don't want to invest in indexed. They don't make enough money. This has 45% in index mutual funds instead of 45% in high risk. So which one did better? Not at this point. But Tom got me this, and I wanted to go through that. I just want to touch on a couple more things because I know we're running out of time. But this is a major problem. They lost money. You should not be responsible for this. The teachers shouldn't be responsible for this. But I have to give you a thought. The people that work for the unions, may it be the SERS or the teachers' unions, why were not the union executives questioning this? But really, isn't it their responsibility to work for them union people? Or did they throw the union people under the bus? They threw them under the bus. The only thing the executives care about is their $200,000 a year income. Go to the next one. Okay? You heard, we didn't put enough money in. The legislators didn't put enough money in. Well, from 1990, in 1990, the funding was 119%, was 19%, not 8. There was over 100% more money put into them accounts in 1990. We overfunded the accounts until 1999. This is off of their website. What happened to that money? Wasn't the 90s a good investment year? You better believe it was. Okay? So then we underfunded it, even underfunded it. But my question is, what happened to all of that money? Go to the next one. Yeah. Because of this problem, it has major effects on us. Number one, our bond rating in Pennsylvania was dropped. Big reason for that is the pensions. Next one. That's all about why. These documents are up here. The next one. This one I don't have printed out, but this is a fiscal condition report for the ratings of all 50 states, stating the ratings for budget and solvency in Pennsylvania in 2012, we were 37th in the nation. Next one. 47th in cash solvency. Next one. 30th in long-run solvency. 26th in service level solvency. 42nd in fiscal condition.
Wow, we're in California?
Yeah, it is sad. To me, this is the waste and fraud of our money. Well, we should not follow along. Okay? I'm going to ask you to do me and Tom a favor. We worked hard at this. I've talked to other legislators that kind of say, oh, maybe, right? Tom, you've been bucking your head. Okay? Okay? What I need you to do is take copies of this. Read it. If you have questions, call me, call Tom. Once you understand this, I want you to go to your legislator and say, why are you not on board with fixing this problem? You were in a presentation that Tom and I did.
Are you saying none of them are? None of them are on board right now?
Is there any in Berks County work when you're done? None.
Mark?
Oh, Mark. I think part of the problem is I don't think they understand the depth of the problem.
Well, then they need to get in one of our meetings.
Well, or
Good point.
make a visit and give them this information and say, look, we worked on this and Richard did the lion's share of this, and he understands. I need allies. If we're gonna make changes up there, it's just like 76. If we don't get enough members to wanna make changes and stop this tomfoolery, the recommendations that Jack Wagner made should be instituted, and if we have to do it legislatively, we should do it. Because it protects all of us, both the employees and the taxpayers, we're all taxpayers. But, you know, it's like, oh, I don't wanna be bothered with that, Tom, that's somebody else's problem. Let those 4 members that we appoint, you know, and I talked to them, and they said, Tom, you're wrong. I said, no, I'm not. Well, there's no problem. And I'm going like this.
They don't have to depend on voters.
Oh, my God.
Get reelected.
Well, no, they're members of the General Assembly.
Yeah.
The 4. I mean, they're
They
doing like
got all
this.
those, they got all those committees and people telling you, don't vote for this, because if you do, we're not gonna vote for you. And that's why the leadership said, don't vote for it.
If we were to institute the recommendations that the Auditor General suggested, there'd be no.
There'd be no problem. No problem.
Can that be put into a bill now?
Just take
You're
it from
reading
there
my
and
mind.
If it can be put in the bill, then I'll say, we're behind this bill.
But if we gotta get the leadership up there. What Richard uncovered was we didn't talk about this, follow the money, and who's getting
I agree with
the.
that.
That's leadership. I followed the money for the leadership, and the ones that are fighting most of this are receiving most of their money from the lawyers, labor, and the finance. And if you look at all the leaders, all of them are receiving money from the same groups.
All the leaders.
Are you talking legislative leaders?
Both sides.
Yeah,
These and ours. Doesn't matter.
these and ours, doesn't matter.
Really bad.
They're getting,
Everybody.
they're getting money.
Especially from the financial institutions, they're getting big money.
Yeah, Pileggi received 574,000 donations from lawyers and lobbyists. Costa received 274,000 from the same group. That's a Democrat and Republican.
The radical
activist Tea Party and supporting common sense. But no, I mean, how can we
Oh,
help?
we get a bad name.
Tom, you might be in the wrong room, but I'm telling you,
I like
telling you, you're right.
I like telling the truth, whether it hurts or not, but a lot of my colleagues up there, they don't want to hear it, and especially if they're getting big checks. The leadership, look, the leadership of both parties in both House and Senate, they control everything. It's not the rank and file members. Oh, if you raise enough fellow like I do every now and then, they say, you know, give him some oil and shut him up, you know.
Whose brain? Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.